Welcome to Horseshoe Politics. Today is September 19th, 2020, and unfortunately, just yesterday, Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away at the age of 87. She had been serving in the Supreme Court for 27 years, ever since Bill Clinton nominated her back in 1993 and the Senate approved her, and she was the second ever female Supreme Court Justice. The first one was Sandra Day O'Connor. So this is really big news because now there's the giant debate over who should nominate the next Supreme Court justice and when should that president nominate the Supreme Court justice. The first question is it going to be Donald Trump that nominates the Supreme Court justice, or is it going to be Joe Biden that's going to nominate the Supreme Court justice? If Donald Trump wins the 2020 presidential election, no question he's going to nominate the next justice. But if Joe Biden wins the presidential election this November, the question is Donald Trump and the Republican-controlled Senate, are they going to try to rush in a new Supreme Court justice before Donald Trump's presidency ends, or are they just going to let Joe Biden nominate the next Supreme Court justice? Before Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away yesterday, there were 5 Supreme Court justices that were nominated by Republican presidents and 4 Supreme Court justices nominated by Democratic presidents. So already the Supreme Court was skewed in favor of conservatives even before the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg yesterday. But if a Republican nominates a Supreme Court justice, it's going to be skewed even more in favor of them. Because of Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death yesterday, there are currently only 8 Supreme Court justices that are serving, and this will be the case until that vacancy that was left by Ruth Bader Ginsburg, until that vacancy is filled by a new appointee, whether it be Donald Trump's appointee or Joe Biden's appointee. Until that point, you're only going to have 8 Supreme Court justices serving. And what this means is that you could have a lot of Supreme Court cases that end in 4-4 ties, where 4 of the justices choose one side of the issue and the other 4 justices choose the other side of the issue, where you end up getting a tie. Now, I actually just searched this up, what happens when there's a 4-4 tie in the Supreme Court, because we could now be having many of those when there are only 8 Supreme Court justices serving, and you may have several of those until the Supreme Court vacancy is filled, whether it be by Donald Trump or by Joe Biden. So I actually just searched this up. Apparently, if the Supreme Court is deadlocked at a 4-4, it turns out that the lower court's decision on the case is actually upheld, but apparently it does not create a legal precedent. And basically, a legal precedent is when, if there's a future Supreme Court case that's similar to this Supreme Court case, to like a current Supreme Court case, then the future Supreme Court case's outcome is decided based on what happened in the current Supreme Court case. So this Supreme Court case, some Supreme Court case that takes place in the present, in like 2020, it could be responsible for deciding the outcome of Supreme Court case in 2030. And that's one of the reasons why Supreme Court cases can be a really big deal, because it's not only about the outcome of that specific case, but it's also about the outcome of future cases. It may also be possible that we don't get many of these 4-4 ties, and the reason for this is if you look at the current makeup of the Supreme Court, and if you look at the Supreme Court makeup, there are 5 currently serving justices that have been nominated by Republican presidents, but only 3 Supreme Court justices that have been nominated by Democratic presidents, which means that there's 5 Supreme Court justices that lean conservative and 3 that lean liberal. Until Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away yesterday, there were 4 Supreme Court justices nominated by Democratic presidents and leaned liberal, but ever since yesterday's death, that number dropped to 3. And the reason being is because Ruth Bader Ginsburg was nominated by Democratic President Bill Clinton. So it may be possible that there aren't that many ties between now and the next Supreme Court justice getting appointed, because there might be a lot of 5-3 rulings because there's more conservative justice than liberal. But at the same time, Justice John Roberts, he is known to be sort of a swing justice, because a lot of the time he votes with the other conservative justices, but sometimes he flips sides and sides with the liberal. For example, there was this one Supreme Court case where both John Roberts and Neil Gorsuch joined the liberal judges in a 6-3 decision, which dictated that trans people and LGBTQ plus members overall could not be discriminated against by private businesses. But now let's actually get into whether or not the next Supreme Court justice will be nominated by Democratic president or Republican president, Joe Biden or Donald Trump. So basically, we have to go back to 2016 to look at why there's so much conflicts, so much tension. Basically, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is saying that he's going to do his best to try to get a new Supreme Court justice appointed before the presidential election, but Chuck Schumer saying, no, we have to wait until the presidential election to appoint a new nominee. And the thing about the Senate is that there's 53 Republicans, so the Republicans might actually be able to get their way and nominate a new justice before and approve of a new justice before the election, because you only need 50 senators to approve a justice, and they have 53 Republicans in the Senate. But the other issue is whether or not all 53 of them are going to be on board with voting for a new justice, when back in 2016 they took a different stance on the issue, and that's where the big conflict actually is. So back in 2016, Obama was still president, but on February 13th, 2016, Antonin Scalia, a Supreme Court justice who had been serving since the 1980s, passed away. Now, this was just several months before the presidential election, the 2016 presidential election, and Democrats were saying, oh, Obama needs to nominate another Supreme Court justice, and the Senate needs to vote on that. But then Republicans were saying that, no, we need to wait until after the election, and whoever wins the election gets to choose the new Supreme Court nominee. So Obama nominated Merrick Garland as the Supreme Court justice appointee to replace Antonin Scalia in the Supreme Court. But what the Senate did, Senate Majority Mitch McConnell basically said that the Senate is not going to take in any requests by Obama. He's not going to even vote on any of the appointees that Obama appoints. They're not going to vote on them until after the election's over. So basically, there was a vacancy in the Supreme Court for an entire year because until the election, Mitch McConnell just refused to vote on any of the appointees that Obama nominated for the Supreme Court. So what happened was, after the election ended, Donald Trump won, and Donald Trump nominated Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court, and then only then did Mitch McConnell decide to finally allow a vote on him. And the vote passed because the Republicans dominated the Senate at the time. They still do, but at the time, the Republicans dominated the Senate. So that's the reason why Mitch McConnell was able to have that much control. He was able to get all the other Republican senators, and they made up a majority. He was able to get all of them to not vote on the Supreme Court justice until after the election. And because of that, it was a Republican nominated justice and not a Democratic nominated justice that filled the vacancy left by Antonin Scalia. But now the issue is, what do we do now? Because now you have Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a Supreme Court justice who passed away in September of an election year, just 2 months before the election takes place. And you have it where Donald Trump is a Republican president and the Senate is dominated by Republicans. So in theory, Donald Trump could force through another new appointee before the election. But at the same time, the Republican senators took a different position on the issue back in 2016, saying that you had to wait until the election to decide on a new Supreme Court justice appointee. But then Democrats are also switching their position from 2016. Back in 2016, Democrats said, oh, Obama's the president, he gets to appoint the new Supreme Court justice. But then Republicans said, oh, we have to wait till the election, let the voters decide. But now it's sort of flip-flopped. Republicans are saying the president gets to decide, while Democrats are saying let the voters decide, wait till the election ends. So because one of the cases was a Democratic president and one of the cases was a Republican president, both parties flipped sides on the issue. But the issue is, are all the Republican senators going to flip their stance on the issue from 2016, or are there going to be at least 4 of them that stay consistent? The Democrats only need 4 Republican senators to stay consistent on the issue as their stance in 2016 in order for them to block Trump's Supreme Court nominee. And if that happens, then the winner of the 2020 presidential election will basically decide the Supreme Court makeup also. So that puts even more weight on this presidential election in that case. Because not only are you deciding on a new president, you're also deciding on a new Supreme Court justice, whether or not you have a liberal or conservative justice, basically. So this election was already a really big deal, but now the stakes grew even higher. So this is going to be a really interesting election, but I don't think it's going to be interesting for the right reasons. Interesting as in toxic, interesting as in chaotic, interesting as in divisive, interesting as in completely filled with tension. This year has already been really rough, and everybody's angry, and it's easy to see why, but that just means that this election is going to be extra bitter, extra toxic, extra partisan. So I'm really worried about how high the stakes are and how much tension there's going to be across the country. I'm hoping, for this exact reason, that the election doesn't take several weeks to decide, maybe only a couple of days, but we just have to see. This whole Supreme Court justice issue just added an entirely new layer to the issue of the 2020 presidential election. which I was not expecting. I was thinking about what if this happens, what will the Republicans do, what will the Democrats do if there's a new vacancy in the Supreme Court before this election. But I didn't think it would actually happen. I didn't think Ruth Bader Ginsburg would pass away this quickly. It seemed like she was still going pretty strong. I know she had to go to the hospital a few times because of her health issues, but I thought she'd still be able to hang in there at least until after the election, but unfortunately that did not happen. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you tune into tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching.